Now tell us a little bit about what CushyCMS is.
Okay, basically we built a CMS with two big problems to solve in mind. First was that traditional CMSs tend to have to be a programmer to use, and they take ages to implement, like days to learn and customize. And the second problem is that they're generally not friendly at all for actual content editors to use, which defeats the purpose of using a CMS in the first place. So the idea was, we started with building the editing interface as simple as possible and then worked out around that.
Okay, you want to show us how it works?
Sure. I'll just log in first, and there's two user roles essentially. There's web designer, you can see here, and a content editor. So I'll take you through the process of a scenario where I'm a freelance web designer and I've just built this site for a client, and they'd like to be able to update their own news section here. And I'll show you how you can do that with CushyCMS. So the first step is to add the site. And this is the FTP details. This is the way Cushy publishes. It's a completely hosted CMS, so you don't have any server requirements or software to set up on the server. This part's just asking where the site files live on your web host. Okay, so it's added the site, and the next step's going to assign a page, which in this case is the home page. And then I just select the file on the server that I wish to edit. Okay, so we can see the home page showing up here. Now I'll click on this to edit the actual content, and it's going to throw an error here because basically the way CushyCMS decides what it can and can't edit is through these special HTML classes that we apply, class of CushyCMS, and you can apply that to pretty much any element on the page, but it's something you have to set up the first time around. So I'm going to fire up Coda, which is my HTML editor of choice, you know, could be Dreamweaver or whatever. And this is the HTML for the home page. So I want them to be able to change this news headline. So the class CushyCMS on here. This news photo, I'd like them to be able to change as well. And
now you could obviously cut and paste this from the other page in if you didn't know what you're doing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's actual fairly detailed documentation on here.
Okay.
And it's pretty flexible what you can do with it as well. For example, if I put on this heading here, if I also put a title, news headline, that will become the actual field label in the CMS, which I'll show you in a minute. And I've got a block of content here too that I'd like to make editable, so I'm just going to go ahead and bang a div around that with the class of CushyCMS. Now this is this sort of thing pretty much any web designer will be able to do. Now I'll save that file, I'll send it up to the server, and that's pretty much done as far as setting up that page. So I'll try again to edit the content. And as you can see, it's gone and picked up the various elements. Such as here, here, and here, and given you an editable interface.
Okay.
Now I might just really quickly show you how the editors work, because that's I think where the magic comes in some ways. So what I'm going to do now is, as a designer, I've set the site up, and now I'm going to allow an editor to actually go in and edit them themselves. In this case, it's my client, Acme Widgets. And I just select the pages I want them to be able to edit.
Hit
bang. and I'll shoot them an email. So what I'll do is I'll pretend I'm Acme Widgets now and show you the other half of the equation. I'll go in, check my email. So I've got an email saying blah blah, guys, set you up to edit pages. So I'll go log in as the client. And this is the content editor interface, which is super simple. Pretty much the only thing they can do is click on the page they want to edit. So jump in here and change some content. I'll change that photo. Some content too. Hit publish.
I'm just seeing with the news headline, obviously that's not a WYSIWYG interface, that obviously then takes, so it's a H1 tag or something like that. That's just changing the text within the confines of whatever the formatting is already for the site.
That's correct, yeah.
Okay.
So it won't actually change the enclosing tags, it'll just change the content in those tags.
Cool.
And it produces a standards compliant output as well, so it makes it hard for your clients to break your site. And as you can see, the content change has been updated. And there's some smarts going on as well. It's picked up the width on my image tag and resized that photo to those constraints.
Okay.
And you can apply this this principle to pretty much any content on the site. So just say there's JavaScript or something like that. You could even allow, you know, your more savvy content editors to change JavaScript. It's quite flexible.
So what's the scenario? I mean, what's the ideal scenario for someone using this? Is it a small-scale design house or something like that who wants a client to be able to edit basic elements on a page? Is that the best way to describe it?
Sure. I think so. Like, you know, I've built websites for friends and family as well, just small sites for whatever, and you know they're constantly bugging me to update the content. And you know, there's just no easy way of letting them do that at the moment, without spending ages, you know, installing and customizing an overkill CMS. And you know, I'd probably use it myself too for sites such as Retail Me Night, you know, larger sites where I've got other people who work here who want to be able to update that content. And it's just, you know, it's just the speed and flexibility.
Particularly for static pages, stuff not captured by the CMS easily.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess another nice thing about this is because of the way it works, if I've got a dynamic site with, say, a header and a footer, CushyCMS can edit the header file, and that will, you know, work even though it's a dynamic include throughout the rest of the site.
Okay, so it does actually support PHP, so you can say like a WordPress template with the various aspects, it can edit each file.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter what it is, what the content is.
All right. Now, is this a completely hosted solution, or is this something someone can install a script on and use?
It's completely. It's a completely hosted service at CushyCMS.com. And that's one of the nice things about it, is that you don't have to install anything. You don't have to have any particular server requirements other than FTP, which everyone has.
And
Yeah, and it's free. It's free for now as well.